This one I was like, I know exactly how to play this. She's devastated that they didn't do this 10 years ago. It needs this, and the audience deserve this. And Lacey and Scott were like, gotcha. I can neither confirm nor deny that there's something that occurs.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Heart Emotion podcast. I'm so excited to welcome Rebecca Hanssen to the podcast. How are you doing, Rebecca?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm so excited to talk to you about Annabelle's journey with Paris is always a good idea. This is one of those series where I'm literally on the edge of my seat waiting for the next episode to come out. So I'm so excited to be talking to you. I'm
Me too.
curious. Yeah, let's go. First thing I want to know, you find out about this project. What intrigued you most about being involved in this project?
Gosh. So first, I only got the tiniest little excerpt of the script to do my audition. But even then I was like, oh, this character is fun. Like, the way there's sometimes you read things and you're like, right, how will I play this? There's a few different ways, or like I don't feel kind of connected to it. I'm really gonna have to work on it. This one I was like, I know exactly how to play this. Um and obviously with tweaks and wonderfulness from all of the directors. I'm not like,
Absolutely.
I'm just amazing. No, but I felt so connected to her instantly. And I think possibly because I feel like she's quite like my own sister. And so I had the best time kind of channeling that. And then when I got my recall, uh it was just kind of even more exciting because we got to like have a few more scenes and we got to delve further. And then I had a chemistry read and they said, and your chemistry read is with Lacey. And I was like, oh, because they don't tell you anything, beforehand. And so, that way you have the simultaneous just kind of like elation and then like utter dread. Like just terrified to like do the best job that you possibly can. And she was just the most giving, lovely, wonderful, as you can imagine, kind of scene partner, even on our Zoom recall, because obviously we're in two different countries, so we couldn't
Yeah.
be in the same room. And yeah, I screamed quite loudly when I got the part. It was a dream come true.
I imagine, this has been the very first thing that really kind of jumped out to me as I started watching was your dynamic with Lacey. You two are absolutely believable when it comes to being sisters. Did you feel that immediately, even during your chemistry read?
Yes, it is impossible not to love Lacey. She is genuinely one of the sweetest, most open-hearted, generous people. And so, she immediately was like, let's go for dinner. Let's get to know each other. Let's hang out at the weekend. And so it was effortless. And I think that comes across on screen. And I adore her. Yeah, very lucky.
So you knew a little bit about the project going in enough to get you intrigued. Did you get all of the scripts up front, or were you getting those kind of as you went along?
I think we did. I'm trying to remember if we had the first four and then later we had the last two. Um, I think I think we had pretty much all of them. And I maybe before the final recall, so I didn't want to read the last episode in case I didn't get the part because I would want to watch it and want to know what
Yeah.
happened.
So as you're
Yes,
reading,
yes. But I think
go ahead, go ahead.
no, I think going into it we had all the scripts. We knew what the plan was. Yeah.
So as you're reading the scripts, because one thing that's like, especially once we get to like episode 4, I had some moments where I'm like, whoa. And I purposefully held off reading the book because I thought I will read the book after I want to go into this, just like totally focused on the series. Did you have any of those shock moments like I've had?
Yes. Um and I'm trying to think of what the kind of main ones have been. Um, I think so. Reading the scripts, I was like, Jason Knightley is so annoying. Go away. And then I think just kind of delving more into his backstory, uh, it kind of just really changes your entire perspective of him. But also then Scott plays him so perfectly. Like as soon as I met Scott, I was like, now I really understand. And even all of the moments where I was like reading it, I was like, you were being such a douchebag. Um, then even seeing those scenes played out with him doing it, I was just like, you're such a charmer. Like,
Mhm.
who couldn't fall in love with you?
Yeah. So that is one of my favorite relationships in the series also is Annabelle and Knightley. Can you talk about having those moments to kind of play those scenes out with him because it's really fun to watch.
They are so fun to do, and there's not enough of them.
No.
Which I think is why it makes it so special when you do get those kind of moments. Um, I think it's just that classic kind of almost older brother, younger sister dynamic. And it was just really fun because Scott and I, we were living in apartments that were right down the road from each other. And because we were often starting to film quite late in the day, like we would kind of often start in the afternoon and then go into the night, which meant that we
Mhm.
had the morning often free. And so we would always meet for coffee and like go over the scenes for the day and run lines with each other for and pretending to be everybody else under the sun. And we got on so well. And then there was one day we realized we were reading over the scenes for the day and we were like, we have to work together today. We need to not make each other laugh.
Who would
We
be the
have to be
first one?
professional.
Would it be you or would it be him that would break character?
Oh gosh, I don't know. You know that way when I think it would I think he wouldn't even mean it, but he'd just look at me in a certain way and I would just laugh. But actually, I think, see, perhaps when we were rehearsing, we might have laughed a bit, but we are total professionals. We made it without any,
I love
without
it. I
any.
love it. Let's talk a little bit about the story. And there's kind of two things going on here. We've got a love story, we've got a grief story, which I also think is a different love story in and of itself. So, Annabelle is really the catalyst for Chelsea's journey. What do you think Annabelle understands about Chelsea that Chelsea doesn't quite understand about herself at the beginning?
So I think, with a lot of people, their natural reaction to grief is to run away from it, to not deal with it. It's far too hard. And then they throw themselves into something else, whether that is work or a hobby or a project. And I think Annabelle can blatantly see that that's exactly what Chelsea is doing. She has thrown herself into her work, which is an incredible job, and she is making such a difference in the world, and that is giving her a sense of kind of achievement, and also somehow, I guess, like atonement would be the wrong word, but healing. um and and but I think Annabelle can see that that's not ultimately going to be what makes her happy,
Mhm.
and that she needs to kind of confront what happened, feel that pain and that hurt in order to then move forward with that being a part of her. But that's then going to help her to grow, because at the minute she is just stuck.
Yeah. And all while this is going on, there's things that Annabelle hasn't quite dealt with yet either. There's one of my favorite moments when when they head on to Paris and they're kind of doing the hunt that their mother had prepared. And Annabelle does her part. And I don't want to give it away for those that haven't seen it, but that was a powerful moment when Annabelle realizes that something can't happen. Do you know what moment I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Can
yeah,
you talk a little
exactly.
bit about that moment?
Yeah, and it was really hard. We filmed that on the first day of filming, which was actually a really great um, for me, it was nerve wracking, but it was also a great way, I think, to kind of introduce us into the series. Um, because I was able to then have that throughout all of Annabelle being quippy and funny. She does carry this pain with her, and I think that that's really always important to kind of have at the back of my mind. But yeah, that was a heartbreaking moment because Annabelle has been able to be so strong for herself, but also for her sister, and pretending that everything's fine and that it doesn't matter and that she's over it, and she's there to help her sister to kind of become over it as well. But ultimately, she realizes that she absolutely is not, and that she's devastated that they didn't do this 10 years ago. And she doesn't blame Chelsea, I think, for that, but it still is that moment of that kind of one of the only moments of tension that you see between the sisters. And I think that you need those moments in life, because then after that comes reconciliation and you move forward stronger.
So good, so good. Were you surprised at how much of the grief story and the family story were going to be woven into this romantic story?
Yes, yes. I mean, because Hallmark isn't, I'd say some people might bite my head off, but I would say it's not as big of a thing in the UK where I'm from. It is much bigger in the States. And so from what I know of or knew of Hallmark before, I was like, oh, it's these beautiful love stories and everything is just happy and it all turns out right. And I had not expected
Yeah.
a kind of a grief story to be starting the series. And I think, that they were huge talks that we were kind of having almost every day, because the series really does, I think, push quite a lot of boundaries. Um, and and I think though that everybody really decided that it's a story that so many people have dealt with, and that ultimately that will bring people closer. And as much as there might be a tear shed right near the beginning, it just makes the whole series and the payoff like even more beautiful and heartfelt.
It's so amazing because it provides, like you said, Hallmark is known for being, the sit down to watch something that's going to make you feel good. But what's different about this one is that it gives people hope who may be going through some sort of grief to realize there is light at the end of the tunnel. And this series portrays that so well.
Exactly. Beautifully put. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well. Um, Annabelle, we talked about love story. Annabelle's got a little bit of a romance going on herself. Tell us a little bit about that because she's got a history as well that she's trying to work through.
Yes. And again, I think this is that classic kind of Annabelle, being her facade is that she's strong, she's capable, she's over it. She's been to therapy, she knows all of the steps that she should be taking, and she's doing them. Does that then mean that mentally she's actually prepared to follow through with any of these like dates that she's going on or anything? No. And so she absolutely she does. She has this heartache from her past that is linked to, her career. And um and I think that is just really beautiful to explore, because it then breaks down Annabelle's walls and allows the audience to see kind of her true self, and the kind of different pain that she carries and the hope that she has.
We see Annabelle back in Paris at the end of episode 4. Will we see more of her love story in these last two episodes?
Um, I can neither confirm nor deny that there's something that occurs.
Okay.
Um, it's small but
But
meaningful.
it's something. There's a
Mhm.
little something there.
Yeah.
This series was unique and I'm sure amazing in that you had some amazing locations. to film at? First of all, does that help you as an actor when you're not necessarily so much in a studio, but you are physically in these places that you are telling stories about?
100%. Like, you're stepping into these, I mean, you're stepping onto the streets of Paris, so you can't help but just be starry-eyed and looking around and being like, this is incredible. And the Spain, just there are so many. I need to go back. We spent 7 weeks there, and I'm still like, I want to go back. I need to go exploring. We stayed in one very specific region, and it does, though. It makes you feel like you are the characters on this story, and we're all there, kind of on this working holiday because you're abroad, and so it felt like we were all on a trip together as well, and that really feeds into, you can see that on screen.
Was Spain your favorite location to film in or favorite just to visit?
Mm. I think it's still going to have to be Paris as the favorite to film in, because that was right at the start as well. So it was the first 2 weeks, and it was Paris is always a good idea, in Paris. And I was pinching myself every day. It was magical.
Were you a part of, I know we've just seen this amazing night scene at the Eiffel Tower. It's gorgeous. Were you there on set or did you hear about it? Because on this side of it, it's pretty magical.
It looks incredible. I had left the day before, so that was their last night in Paris was that scene, and I had finished all of my stuff and I'd left the day before, and so I'd messaged Lacey like, "How did it go?" And she was like, "You have no idea. It started snowing. Like we'd gotten so lucky with the weather. I mean, this was March, in the end of March, beginning of April in Paris. It can be very, the weather is not guaranteed. And we had gotten so lucky. It was sunny. It wasn't too hot. It was perfect. It barely rained. And then on the night that they've got the Eiffel Tower for these few hours, and it starts to snow, and the wind was insane. And bless the two of them. I mean, they are just such professionals. But Lacey was like, I was literally jittering, and then as soon as the action, you're like, thank God.
Nice.
And you're
That's what
just
you guys do, right?
and you can't tell.
And you can't
You
tell.
cannot tell. And it was so special then. I think, like, after the fact, they were both like, we got to film on the Eiffel Tower in the snow. It was amazing. But in the moment, it was like, this is so cold.
Did
Bless them.
did you mentioned Spain? Is that the place where you're like, I did not get to visit enough? That is where I would go back right now.
Well, we were filming in San Sebastian in the Basque Country for the vast majority of it, and then we went and did a little bit in Bilbao, which is like a kind of hour's drive. But I would love to properly go exploring, just making my way down and around, but we were filming pretty much every day, and I would try to kind of, if I had 2 days off in a row, I'd try and fly home to see my family and then fly back out again. So I didn't really have very many days off, apart from my nice mornings or maybe one day here and there to kind of walk around. But I didn't do a proper explore of the wider area, which so I just simply have to go back and do that.
You have to. We need another part, and you can go back and we can hear more about Annabelle's story that way. So.
Yes.
Yeah. So who on cast would be the one that was the adventurous one that would kind of turn the filming day into an adventure?
Ooh. Henry is actually incredibly adventurous, and he brings his camera with him everywhere
Okay.
and tries to capture, fleeting, beautiful moments. There's no posing. And I think that that's just so beautiful. So he did so much kind of walking and exploring, and would want to play with a scene as well, and but maybe not like on the day adventuring, but Scott had kind of, I think, 3 weeks off when we were doing all of our family, scenes and everything. And he could have gone back home, but he didn't. He went and did like a tour around Europe. He like
Amazing.
utilized that time. He saw so much. I was like, I live here and I have not been to as many places as you have in 3 weeks. It was very impressive. Dedication.
I started to say, with you being closer than most people, were you ever able to like offer any tips at all?
Not really, unless somebody wanted to go to London, which nobody did, or Scotland, obviously where I'm from. And again, nobody wanted to go to Scotland in April. Funny that it's very rainy. So no, I felt like I didn't. I think Scott did go to Prague, and I've been there and I filmed there, and it's stunning. So I think I kind of gave him some little pointers. But apart from that, no, he was very good at doing all of his own research. Everybody was.
Okay, you mentioned I want to come back to the series, but I do want to derail for just a second because you mentioned you're in London. We know your background, your Scottish background. So you're busy outside of doing Paris is always a good idea. You just had an event. Tell us a little bit about your work across television and film, because we want to get to know you a little bit more.
Hey, that's so nice. I mean, so the event I was kind of doing like a Comic Con in Birmingham, because a lot of my career at the minute is video game voices, and so I've kind of been doing that for the last 6 years. I'd say I fell into it. I didn't. It's more, I was doing a lot of screen, but screen is hard. It's a really tough, tough, tough industry. But it's kind of, acting is always what I've wanted to do, and it sounds so choosy. But it's true. And one of my friends was like, "You love doing voices. You love doing silly voices. You love creating characters. You love doing accents. Like, have you thought about doing voice stuff?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And it took him like a year of prodding me to eventually get me to do a kind of voice reel. And from there, I have just kind of, it was just like a tumble effect. I do so much kind of in the video game world, and I love it. I love it so 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 much. Because you can be in the morning, you can be playing like squeaky 10-year-old pink-haired American girl in high school who turns into a cat. And then in the afternoon, you can be playing some like grizzled, London army officer who's leading an army. I would be able to do neither of those on screen. And so it's really, really fun. And I find like recording sessions are sometimes like an actor's gym. You can play so much. So yeah, that's what I spend a lot of time doing. Silly voices.
So, because you have such a believable American accent in this series, did you develop that like prior to the video games, or were I mean, it's totally believable. Is that just because of your experience doing all of the video game voice work?
I think so. Growing up in Scotland, a lot of our kind of film and TV is American or English.
Okay.
Growing up, I rarely felt as though we had kind of Scottish people in films, or there would very rarely be a fully Scottish cast, unless it's a specific film like Braveheart, and even then Mel Gibson isn't. Anyway, um, but I think for me, Fantasyland uh was with an American accent. And so even when I was like playing imaginary games in the playground with my friends, I would put on an American accent because that's what you do when you're playing make believe. And so I think I kind of always had it, and an English accent as well. And then yes, I've managed to kind of hone it by doing all the voice work and working with like amazing directors over the years who have been from the States and have kind of said like, you do that wrong, it's this. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
thank you, noted.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay. Well, that is amazing. So, would we hear your voice on these are video games that go all over the world, I'm
Mm,
assuming, right?
yes, yeah,
Okay. Go check it out, guys, on IMDb. Oh, is it on? Are video games on IMDb? Yeah, because
yeah,
it's voice work. It's voice work.
yeah, yeah,
I am amazed at how many people I have interviewed that do video game voice work. It is, but it's a great mix up, a good variety.
yeah.
I love that you guys get that opportunity to have that variety in the industry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it, and the fact that you can play. I think in there's a game called Baldur's Gate 3 that did really well, and I play this character called Alfira, who's this magical. She's a tiefling bard. Because it's set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. It's very cool. I love it. But within that, like we recorded for over 4 years, and the world is expansive. And so they're constantly getting you to record other kind of smaller characters here and there. And I think in total I played 21 parts. So, it just the opportunity to play, to explore doing video games is I'm just so lucky to have it. I'm so lucky and I love it.
Wow, that is amazing. Do you have a favorite accent?
Oh,
Or is it more about just being able to change it up?
I think I enjoy being able to change it up.
Yeah.
And kind of like pitch age ranges and stuff like that. It makes the day so much more fun. I enjoy playing. I'm just a big kid. I just enjoy
But I
playing.
can see why that, even your nature and wanting to change it all up, how well that plays into like Annabelle's character, who's
Mhm.
just this go-getter and pushing the boundaries and trying things. It works really well. Okay, so we just finished episode 4. Annabelle, we mentioned this earlier, but Annabelle shows up in Paris at not the best time for some of us viewers who we get to see this magical moment. Can you kind of walk us through that scene? Because that did push, you mentioned earlier, pushing some boundaries. That did push some boundaries in the Hallmark world. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
It was
Yep.
it was a really good moment.
Yep. No, and I remember the discussions on the day where, you know, so our director for the first 3 episodes is this phenomenal woman called Emer Conroy. But she did that scene. We were it was, she really focused on the first 3 episodes, but we were chopping and changing little bits. We don't film in order. Um, but she directed that scene and she was just like, it needs this. It needs this. And the audience deserve this. And Lacey and Scott were like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Um, and but then obviously, Annabelle is kind of ruining it, sitting at the top of the stairs. And I felt so bad. I absolutely ruined the first take because I was like, I thought that they couldn't see me on the camera, and so I was doing like a funny face in the, as they come up, and so I just see Scott turn around like,
But when you got it right, Annabelle's expression was money. It was so good. It was like, you guys have just been busted.
oh, that was so fun to film. It was so fun.
Well,
Yeah.
and I equally loved the just very candid and fun, girly sister conversation afterwards, where Chelsea just kind of has to bring Annabelle up to speed on what's happened since Annabelle has been away. So that was a lot of
Mhm.
fun as well.
Definitely.
We still have episode 5 and 6. We've talked about there might be something that happens you cannot confirm or deny. What else can you tease about Annabelle's journey in these last couple of episodes?
Oh, what can I tease? Um, so I think it's good because she has this kind of she's a very heartfelt moment with Chelsea. And I think that actually then gives her a lot of, I don't know, a sense of kind of unloading and relief, which then just, I think leads her even more into kind of rallying Chelsea into like go getting her dreams. So Annabelle just becomes even more kind of open, free spirited, funny, and um, oh, I'm trying to think what I can say and what I can't say. It's a lot of fun. Annabelle just becomes a lot of fun.
Okay, so if I were to say Three words to describe the last couple of episodes. We could go
Oh,
with fun as one of them.
they're fun.
Okay. What
Um,
else?
uh, eh, Fun. And I'm trying to think of like one word to say that. Uh, like, when it subverts expectation. Can we
Okay.
pretend that that's one word?
Okay. Oh, yeah. We break the rules on this podcast all the time. So go for it.
Um, and oh, I don't know, heartfelt, beautiful, romantic. One of those. It's stunning. I'm going to just go with stunning.
Oh, that's a
Just
good
wait
word.
until you see. Oh, it's so pretty. Yeah,
I love that. That's a great word.
yeah,
Okay. You got time for a quick little game?
yes.
Okay. And I think I kind of already know some of these since we've talked, but we'll see. All right. And I'm not gonna add to this. I'm gonna let you define it. Paris, Ireland, or Spain. However you want to interpret that.
Paris.
Okay. Because we've talked about multiple, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Favorite European food? Because I haven't been.
Oh, so in Paris there was this incredible kind of they did loads of like vegan pastries and like healthy pastries. They weren't, but they were delightful, and I went every day. And it was called Copain, and they were just some of the most delicious things I've ever tasted. And I was so sad. So pastries, and like tarts and good bread. But when I left Paris, I was like, no, oh my gosh, my like daily routine of going and getting a yummy thing. And then I was at a recording studio in Covent Garden the other day, and they're opening a Copain right beside it. So hear me spending all of my money there.
That is awesome. Well, I can tell you, occasionally when I'm traveling in the States, we will find a French like patisserie or something where they say, like, we are from France. We know how to make them. And I promise you, it's on my list every time I travel there because they're so good, so good. And we just don't have the right ingredients here in the States to make them like they do in France. So good choice. Okay, I think I know this one. Coffee or tea?
Mm,
Oh.
I know. Um, Coffee.
Okay, that's what I thought you would say because you did mention it. But you like a good tea as well, huh? Because you pause.
I really like a good tea. I feel like it's impossible to live in England and not enjoy a good cup of tea.
Yeah, yeah,
But coffee at the minute is definitely my go-to. Even though I think sometimes they can have the same amount of caffeine, you just feel a bit more of a kick from
yeah.
coffee.
Have you
And
ever been to
sometimes
the
you need it.
States?
I've only been very briefly to New York and LA.
And did you get coffee here?
Um, you know what? I don't think I did. What did I was like on a smoothie binge when I was in LA, which was
Oh,
great. There was a lot of
yeah,
really good
that's what you do
smoothies.
in LA. You get a smoothie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I always like to ask people that are from the European countries and they come and have coffee in America, like what their take on it is.
It's funny though, because Julian, who plays Sebastian, and Scott, they they just talked about coffee. Julian is like a coffee connoisseur.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously being French. And so Scott took all of the notes, and like has gone full on down that down
I love it.
that right now. It was yeah, yes. So I've heard a lot about coffee. I
Oh yeah,
know I know how it's meant to be done now.
awesome. Okay, are you a planner or a spontaneous traveler?
I'm a planner. I'm an over planner.
But I bet it makes for a really great trip.
It does, and I'm not like a no. This wasn't on the schedule, and we're doing this hour, and then this hour. No, I'm more kind of like roughly. This is what we're doing this day. This is what we're doing this day. If things chop and change, that's totally fine. But I like to have scoped out all of the possibilities. I hate like wasting time if you're on like a trip to go and see things rather than like a sit by in a sun lounger and chill holiday. If you're
Yeah.
going to see stuff, I want to know all like I have a list of all the things I
Okay.
want to do. because
I
otherwise you're
love it.
wasting time waking up in the morning and being like, so what are we doing? It's like
I
time is
love
money,
it.
people.
That you're you and me right there. I get it. I'm the same way. I don't
Yes,
I'm okay to bend it a little bit, but I want to wake up and seize the day. Take the day.
agreed,
If
agreed.
Annabelle planned your next vacation, where would you go?
Oh, where would Annabelle want to go? Annabelle and I would go to Japan. I was saying this throughout like the whole of filming. We were always, making jokes about like, New Zealand is always a good idea. The Bahamas are always a good idea. Where are we going to go next? And Japan is just majorly on my bucket list. So and I think Annabelle would be so on board for that. Her and I, we're going to
Absolutely. So creative. I love it. Okay, so what's one thing in your suitcase that you absolutely cannot travel without?
go. Oh, that's a good question. What can I just not travel without? It's really embarrassing that the first thing that came to my mind was my microphone, because I have to do
These.
this, or like even with my all of the kind of voice work that I do, I do some of it from home, and they'll message like, "Oh, could you just send us this quick recording of blah blah blah." So I literally to go nowhere without my microphone. But that's boring, and Um, I'd say my book. Like I need to bring my book everywhere that I go. I hate, if I find myself with a moment of like maybe it's a good thing to have a moment of peace and just
Yeah.
think. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you're like, it'd be really good right now. I'm on a train. I'm just gonna pop out my book, or a book. I always need to bring my book.
Okay, what are you reading right now?
Okay, so I'm currently obsessed with Robin Hobb's 16 book series called The Realm of the Elderlings. Um,
Writing
I
it down.
have I've probably been saying this for about a year now because it's 16 books, and so it takes you some time to get through them. And they are all like, I mean, they're chunky. Let me just
Okay.
be right back. I'm gonna show you how
Okay.
big this book
Do it.
is. It's right here in my bag, funnily enough, because I don't go anywhere without it.
Oh, that's one book?
It's the size of my head.
Oh my God. And there's 16 of those?
Uh-huh.
Oh my. So what genre is it?
Oh, it's like it's fantasy.
Okay.
Um yeah, it's fantasy. It's kind of Game of Thrones-esque, but without quite so much violence. Um, well, some of them is a bit violent. Um, Without quite so much, rumpy pumpy. It's more like fantasy
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
They're almost impossible to fully describe because, as you can see, there is so much that happens,
Oh
and
yeah.
there are so many characters, and they're all so unbelievably different to each other. Like Robin Hobb is the way that she writes, just such insanely distinct characters and can just go right into their brains. You're like, how do you're a genius. Anyway, can you tell that I really like it?
Well, it's so funny that you bring that up because my next question was, what's one thing you're currently obsessed with? And I think you just answered it, right?
It's this. And also, my husband and I are currently playing this game called Blue Prince. And because hilariously, as a voice actor who voices in lots of games, I'm not a very good gamer. I don't enjoy fighting. I like kind of story based things. And this game we play it like every night.
I
It's
love
so
it.
good. It's
I
so
love it.
good. We've been doing it for months. We need to get a different hobby, but it's so fun.
Hey,
Anyway, so yes,
if it brings you joy, if it brings you joy, do it.
Robin Hobb and Blueprints. That's it.
Okay. Okay, so what is a project of yours that you would say people should go check out?
Oh, good question. Something they should go and check out. If you're uh if you enjoy fantasy like I do, then I'm also in the last two seasons of The Witcher on Netflix, playing a very different character to Annabelle, possibly the polar opposite character. Um, which is why it's so fun to be an actor because you get to do all of these different things. So yeah, love. I had the best time doing that. So
Okay.
if you have a Netflix subscription and you enjoy fantasy, seasons 4 and 5, I recommend.
Are you bit with the Hallmark bug now?
Yes, I think I am. I think
Will
it's
you do
impossible
more?
not to be.
Will you
Like,
do more if you get the opportunity?
oh gosh, if they come knocking again, I'll be there. I'll be there in a heartbeat. Absolutely.
I love it.
All guns blazing.
I love
Totally.
it.
Like they genuinely are just everything that they kind of pertain to be. Like they are just this big, wonderful, lovely family who kind of want the best for everybody that they work with. Um, and I just value that so much. And I think it is quite rare in this industry as well to have a studio that continues to also use the same actors. They find people that they like, and they want to keep kind of working with them. I think that is quite rare and
Yeah,
beautiful, really lovely.
I hear that all the time when I do these interviews for Hallmark. All the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Rebecca, it has been so much fun talking to you and just celebrating Annabelle's story in this journey. It's been really fun for me to watch and to see, I mean, honestly, to see the sister interaction, the big brother sister interaction, the family interaction, so many parts to this story that people are loving. And so thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. This has been so much fun. I could have chatted all day.
I want to remind everybody that there are still two more episodes to go in this series, and you can watch those on Hallmark Plus. You have time to still go back and catch up if you haven't started yet. There's like all sorts of 50% codes out there all over the place. I'll drop one also in my caption so people can get Hallmark Plus for half off. It's an amazing deal. Plus, there's all sorts of other things to watch there. So, thanks again so much, Rebecca, for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun.
Okay, bye bye.